or so she's told. That other family promises to care for her needs. But the innocent child soon becomes the next victim in the local house of prostitution, local brothel. A young girl is taken advantage of in Africa because the man with AIDS is told that he can only be cured of AIDS if he sleeps. The only way is to sleep with a virgin. The bold new Christian in the Middle East, as soon as they profess faith in Christ, they're thrown in prison. The injustice around the world is so blatant that you and I cannot overlook it. We can't help but notice. It is so perverse and malicious that it has to break our heart. One man that I love to quote, he prayed this, he said, "Lord, let my heart be broken by the things that break your heart." Add to that extreme poverty, frequent natural disasters, and growing spiritual oppression that is so prevalent in much of the world. The thing that is not so easy for most of us is to see what is happening right here all around us. We must do our part with those things that are across the sea, but we cannot overlook the things that are right here in our own backyard. And as I said before, our problem is often not that we cannot see, but that we too often choose not to see the injustice. Do you see that? Do you see it? Do you like what you see? And I want to challenge you this morning with the question, what are we going to do about it? Most of you here know me. Some of you may not. My name is Greg Edmonds. This thing is not full of Greg, sorry. Pinch it up tight. I am Greg Edmonds from over in the big city of Mayo, South Carolina. Most of you have driven through it, and if you blinked, you missed it. But my wife Heidi and I, we grew up going to Mayo Elementary, Chesney High School, but I tell people it was not until we were 25 years old that she finally decided to go out with me. It took me a long time to convince her that I was the right guy. But we went out after I came back as the youth pastor of Graham Chapel, and we were married in 2001. We now have an 11-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. They will be joining me at the end of this service and then be here for the second service. We've now been married for 15 years, and God blessed us with those two wonderful children, Haley and Luke. Our family served, and a lot of you know this, our family served as missionaries to Haiti with Global Partners from 2010 through 2013. We left for Haiti with a 5-year-old and a 5-month-old. Some of the information about Haiti, that Haiti was founded in 1804 when the African slaves revolted against their French oppressors. The rebellion toppled the government again in February 2004, and Haiti has been a country of government and political and every sense of instability that you can imagine. There's a huge income gap between the haves and the have-nots in Haiti. There's not really much of a middle class because you're either very rich from your being involved in the government and usually things that are not on the up and up, or you're extremely impoverished. There's a huge income gap. The population is around 9 million people, and the life expectancy is 51 years of age. Half of the population is under the age of 20, and 1 in 5 children die before they reach the age of 5. Poverty has forced, as I mentioned earlier, about 225,000 Haitian children into slavery as unpaid household servants. Most of the population lives on less than $2 a day, and 1 in 5 children is chronically malnourished. Haiti is considered a third world country and the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere due to decades of violence and, as I said before, government instability. When you look online and you Google the religion of Haiti, it lists 3 religions. The first one is Catholic, which is long embedded there, Protestant, and the third is Voodoo. And as I mentioned back in 2009 and 10 when we were speaking, voodoo is very real in Haiti. Here in the States, it's kind of something you see in cartoons or movies, and it's made fun of or made light of. But voodoo is very much a reality in Haiti. And many times it crosses over into the Protestant or the Catholic churches. And there's almost like as one person said, that Haiti is 100%, is 95% Catholic, 5% Protestant, and 100% voodoo. And so it is a very real thing in Haiti. During our 3 years in Haiti, Heidi and I and our kids saw poverty, hunger, and sickness like we had never seen it before. It became more than just a news story or something we read in a magazine or a newspaper. The people now had names, faces. We met their moms, we met their dads, we met their children. We saw the little children running around with the brown hair from being malnourished. They became our friends. We made some very close friendships during our 3 years in Haiti. But we went there knowing that we could not feed every hungry child. We couldn't alleviate all the poverty and all the injustice that existed all around us. We couldn't give medicine and health care and vitamins to all the undernourished children. We couldn't even set everyone free from their bondage to sin. But God called us to be His hands and His feet and to do everything that we could with what He had given us to give them hope, to give them love, to show them the love of Christ in and through us and all that we did. Our service in Haiti, as some of you have heard before, it was some of the most challenging and difficult times in our ministry life, or in our lives, period. God stretched us and used us in ways that we never thought possible. One of the most rewarding things of our time in Haiti was hosting and coordinating over 100 mission teams in our 3 years there. It was amazing for me to see people's hearts broken as I took them out and we became the hands and feet to the people of Haiti. As I said before, that saying that let my heart be broken by the things that break the heart of God, I saw that firsthand in the lives of over 900 team members that came and worked alongside of us in Haiti. It was an amazing thing to see firsthand people's eyes being opened to the reality of the injustice that takes place around the world. To see them answer those 3 questions. Do you see that? Do you like what you see, and what are you going to do about it? The great thing for me was, and in my position even now is, I get to help people do something about it. And I want to tell you what, it's an amazing place to be where you can help people become the hands and feet of Christ to share His love to a world that desperately needs to see it. Now, I've got to be honest, missionaries are often, if this was a pedestal here, I would get up on it, but it will not happen today. Wes would give me a real hard time. Not being on the table with you. Missionaries are often put up on a pedestal. We're looked at as super spiritual. We're looked at as these people that sacrifice everything to go and serve. And in a sense, we do sacrifice a lot. But I want to tell you, people who go and serve, whether it's long-term missionaries or short-term on a mission team, there's nothing special about them. They simply are obedient to what God has put on their heart to do. Right. And they go and they become the hands and feet of Christ. Right. To make a difference in this world, it requires what these songs were talking about. You surrender all that you are to all that God wants you to be, and you allow our incredible God to do incredible things through ordinary people just like you and me. Right. Matthew 4:18-22. Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee. He saw 2 brothers, Simon and Andrew. They were casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. Come, follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed him. Going on from there, he saw 2 other brothers, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, preparing their nets. Jesus called them, and immediately they left the boat and their father, and they followed him. These 4 fishermen were joined by 8 more men over the next 3 years. They spent about 3 years walking with Jesus, talking with Jesus, sleeping in the same field or the same house, going from house to house, village to village with Jesus, watching him do miracles, listening to him teach about the kingdom of God. But what he was doing was, he first said, come follow me. But those 3 years, Jesus was preparing them to go. Because at the end of his life, he said, now therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. Therefore go. That command of Jesus has echoed in the hearts of Christian men and women for over 2,000 years now. It echoes in your heart. It echoes in mine. It echoes in the hearts of your pastor and your leadership team here. They have been called, we have been called to go and make disciples of all nations. Earlier this year, actually toward the end of 2015, God began stirring in me a call to missions that He had placed in me in 2009. A lot of you, some of you have heard this and read it in some of my newsletters. But I had the opportunity in 2009 to go to Nicaragua on a mission team. We were in a little town called Huigalpa, feeding some impoverished children at a school that was set up by a mission organization that was there. And as we went into this school, you could see the village. And when I say that it was these little lean-to shacks, I don't mean something that you would see here. I mean literally tree limbs that would be tied together with cord, maybe a piece of tin laid on the side, maybe just a tarp around this building. Those were the kind of houses these children came from. I was told as we began to prepare the food and prepare the plates, that this plate, it was kind of like a little Dixie plate. It was piled up with rice and beans and one white piece of loaf bread. As we prepared to serve this to the children, one of the workers told me, they said, now this will be the best meal these kids get all week. I made it through 2 classrooms serving plates. As I walk up to a desk, I would put the plate down and I would see the children do 1 of 3 things. Some of them reached in their bag and pulled out a plastic fork or spoon. Some of them pulled out actually a little silverware fork or spoon that most of them were just nasty looking to look at. And then some of the children would take their 3 fingers and just started eating like that. I made it through 2 classrooms and I lost it. I got out of the classroom and made my way across the lawn of that school. And as I stood there weeping, looking over the mountainside, over on the other side of the valley, I couldn't say a word. I couldn't even pray. The only prayer that I could get out was, God, why in the world was I not born in a place like this? Why was I born in the United States? Why? And I got to tell you, God has never spoken to me in an audible voice. I've never heard it. If He has spoken to you, you take that and run with it, and you don't forget what God said. But this day, God spoke to my heart. And He said, Greg, you were born in the United States so you could do exactly what you're doing right now. You're ministering to the least of these in my name. I came back from that mission trip. We applied to Global Partners. And over the next year, raised our support. And then we went to Haiti and spent 3 years. My family debates me on this. But I forgot that call. And I left Haiti and I came home. But God, in His grace and His mercy, He said, Greg, I'm not done with you. That call that I gave you to make a difference in my name to the least of these around the world is still as good today as it was that June day, standing on the hillside in Huigalpa, Nicaragua. He said, you're born for this. God called me that day to go to the least of these. He reminded me earlier this year, that's what I'm still to do. The short of it is this: I started applying to Global Partners last summer, and I was appointed as a GoNet missionary to be stationed here in the States. Hiding the kids at this point, we don't feel like our family's supposed to go back overseas. But I can't get away from that call. I've been blessed with a wife and children who understand that call. And they said, Greg, we're not going to stand, they've said, we're not going to stand in the way of you going and being the hands and feet of Christ. And so what Global Partners has asked me to do is to live here in the States. And they said, you can live anywhere you want to. And I said, well, how about Mayo? And during this whole time, this is how good God is. I went about 4 months unemployed at the church in North Carolina we were pastoring. And during this whole time of me feeling called back into missions, she couldn't find work. And I say out of the blue, but I know it was God. He had a lady that she had worked with for 10 or 12 years in Spartanburg before and after we got married. She called, I sent Heidi a Facebook message out of the blue, and she said, Heidi, I need you to come to Spartanburg and work for me. She worked her way up to church. She was right under the president, and she said, Heidi, you know the products. You are great with customers. And she said, I need you here in Spartanburg. We put it off because we felt like God was wanting us to stay at the church. I went to Haiti on a short-term mission team last April. When I came back, before I left, I said, Heidi, if you don't have a job offer when I get back, I believe you need to call Tamala and talk to her about coming back to Otto. I came back, no job. She called Tamala. The following Monday, she interviewed, was offered the job, and God worked it out for us to move back home because He knew what He had planned. And that was for me to start going and coming probably about one time a month, being gone 8 to 10 days, taking mission teams around the world. About the same time that I was appointed, something that Global Partners was going to ask me to do fell through. But about that same time, within less than a week, the hurricane hit Haiti and destroyed 7 churches. And they quickly said, Greg, we don't need you to go and do this. We need you to come to Haiti and rebuild 7 churches. The initial assignment, as I said, that I've been asked to oversee is the rebuilding of those 7 churches in Haiti that were destroyed during Hurricane Matthew. This will involve recruiting teams of volunteers to go and work alongside Haitian men and women and work teams to rebuild these churches throughout 2017 and early 2018. Planning and coordinating most aspects of rebuild teams. Traveling to Haiti with teams to lead the rebuild projects, 8 to 10 trips per year. Raising funds to help these churches with the cost of the new building. And as we said, we're wanting to give the Haitians a hand up and not a handout. So in this partnership, the churches from North America will be providing the initial funds to get the building up and get it covered. And then the Haitian churches have agreed that they will close the building in, get the concrete floor poured. And so we're trying to do this as a partnership. We're not trying to go and give out. We're trying to go and help them get back on their feet. One pastor said these words to me back in 2012. He said, we hold service from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. because the church building that we're meeting in has no roof on it. And when the sun comes up, it's too hot for our people to stay for service. And when it rains, as soon as the rain comes, we immediately scatter and everyone runs home. Those were the words of an assistant pastor back in 2012 before God allowed me to partner them with a mission team that was coming from the States to put a new roof on their building. I believe God calls every Christian to be a part of His global mission of fulfilling the Great Commission. Some people are called and willing to go. Others are called to stay and send those going. It takes a team of people to send one missionary family overseas. People are needed to intercede on prayer on behalf of the missionary and the work that they are doing, as well as churches and families and individuals who will partner financially to send those missionaries. Prayer, Global Partners' motto is pray, give, and go. Prayer is essential to my effectiveness. Prayer is essential to the effectiveness of this team that Pastor Hall and Pastor Brady will be leading to rebuild this church. We need you to pray. Pray, give. Churches and individuals who support missionaries are not just sending those people to do ministry. You are partnering with missionaries and mission organizations and Carolina Pregnancy Center to do the work that God has called them to do. It's not just us going who are being blessed. My thing is, you're as much a part of it as me who goes. And then go. We need churches and individuals that will organize mission teams to work alongside the Haitian workers to rebuild their churches. Pray, give, go. Each of us has a part to play. And I ask you this morning, what part will you play? Will you help build God's kingdom around the world? Bayonne, Tedabeth. I'm going to quiz you in a few minutes on these. You've got to spell them. These are the 7 churches that need to be rebuilt. Bayonne, Tedabeth. And that literally is head of cattle. Sabaneh, Duperat, Damas, Grandu, Montbert. Those are the names of the 7 churches that were destroyed. If you are considering going on the mission team to help rebuild these churches, would you mind standing up? Even if you're just considering it, thinking about it. you see these. These are the ones you need to start praying for. We're going to conditions that are not ideal for a mission team. It won't be dangerous in that sense, I don't mean that, but it'll be roughing it. Now, if you know about this mission team and you know that you are going to give financially for one of these people to go, or for the church to help rebuild that church, would you please stand up? I want to tell you this. Jesus said, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church," meaning himself. Jesus promised that he would build his church, and I believe Christ is building his church right here at Eden Wesleyan. He's building his church around the world. And I want to tell you this. If you're standing right now, some of you are not standing, but you probably will end up giving to help with this. Christ is building his church in Haiti. He's building his church in Bayonne. He's building his church at Tel Aviv. He's building his church at Salome, at Dumarat, at Dama, at Grandview, at Montbet. You know what the cool thing is? We get to go and build a gathering place for that church. We get to go build a building where people's lives will be transformed by the same gospel that has transformed your life. We get to go build a building where these people from that community, these 7 communities, will come together and exalt the name of Christ in a different language than what we have on this screen. But I want to tell you what, it's the voice of heaven as English and Creole and French and other languages come together. Because in Revelation, we're promised that one day we'll all stand before the throne. There'll be people from every tongue, tribe, nation gathered in that place, worshiping the Lamb. And as I've said before, the incredible thing is that there will be somebody from Tel Aviv, or Duperat, or Dama, or Montbet, or Grandview. There will be people in that crowd because you gave. There will be people in that crowd because you prayed for this mission team to go and build the building that will be the church in that area. There will be people in that crowd because you gave financially, because you prayed, because some of you gave. We all have a part to play in fulfilling that great commission around the world. Thank you as Eden Wesleyan Church for your financial faith promise support for my ministry, but for what you are going to do to go and build these churches. In closing, I ask you this, do you see it? Do you see the injustice? Do you see the 2,000 people groups around the world that still don't have a church or the gospel presented to them? There may be somebody here today who God's calling to go to those people groups. Do you like what you see? What are you going to do about it? Let's pray. Father, we're just ordinary people who have surrendered our lives to an extraordinary God. You're not one God alone, Lord, you are God alone. You are that good, good Father that we sang about a little bit ago. Father, you've got children in Cooley Springs. You've got children in Mayo. You've got children in Tel Aviv. You've got children throughout Haiti. You've got children throughout the world who are calling on the name that is above all names at this very moment. Lord, you are building your church.
Yes. Yes.
And I thank you that you have called us to be a small part of that. Father, I pray your continued blessings on Eden Wesleyan Church. Lord, I pray that your Holy Spirit would be poured out in this place in powerful ways that they never thought possible. Father, I pray for this mission team as it comes together. Lord, I pray for every penny that's needed to rebuild this church. Lord, I pray that you would provide everything that's needed above and beyond. Lord, I pray for the team's safety as we go. I pray that you would just circle this team with your guardian angels. Every flight, every crazy drive in Haiti, every nail that's driven, every screw that's run into a piece of treated wood. Father, watch over and protect us. But most importantly, use us as your hands and feet. We love you, Lord. Thank you for calling us to come follow you. And thank you even more for developing us into the men and women of God that you trust with your message when you said, therefore, go and make disciples. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
And before you're dismissed this morning, church, I just remind you that this is Missions Month. We're talking about